Hey crew, it's Pitt, and I'm back with some more MBTI. Today's going to be an interesting one because we're going to be doing two people. Both of these people I'm interested in because of the connections they have with Patrick McDavid and Minnect, right? I'm looking into going into Minnect. It seems like a good platform for y'all to be able to reach out to me in a way that is beneficial to both of us. And so I want to look closer at the people who are involved with that. And these are two of Pat's closest people. And so we're going to look at both of them. Now, I was intending to do Tom today and Adam at another point in time, but I happened to find them together. This is Adam's podcast. Tom is a guest. They're both employed by PVD at this point in Valuetainment. And this seems to be a friendly chat podcast, business oriented type thing. And so we're going to dig in and see what we can get out of it. Uh, let's look at the types, right? This is the system because you have not seen anybody else type this way. Uh, we're looking for 5 key determinants here. The first one being things or ideas. The things or ideas are going to give us our columns, right? What we do with those things or ideas is either we seek out new ones or we sort through old ones for either one. We do that for ourselves or for the tribe. And then we are either rigid or flexible in how we go about that. Oh, that's going to give us a T or an F. And then the direct or informative, which is the last one, is going to be how you deliver the information back. Do you ramble down long winding paths, or are you direct and to the point, cut to the chase, and cut out all the extra? We're going to check that out and see what we're looking at. Both of these men, like I watch PVD a lot, and I agree with Tom more than I do Adam. We'll put it that way. I align more with Tom than I do Adam, so I was going to do Tom first. But both of them are very successful in what they do. They both have reached the pinnacle of their particular professions, and so they are both quite knowledgeable. And you should never dismiss anybody that brings knowledge or value, right? And so we're going to check both of them out and see what's up. Uh, I've made a little board so I can keep track of who's who and what's what. And let's dig in and see what's going on.
Some fun. Thank you to everyone watching. We're here with the BizDoc, and we're going to jump right into it. So we started with your bio. We know where you came from. You're hooked on early stage companies doing something big. And anytime you're starting a company, it all starts with usually one person, and that person is usually an entrepreneur. Is it not?
Yep.
Okay, so that's an isolation of an idea, right? It starts with one person. But not necessarily. It could be a thing, right? But it's definitely a sorting down into a box. It's definitely taking this broad spectrum of things and sorting it down into a box. So I'm looking right now towards organize for Adam. That is very preliminary, right? That is very much subject to change, but that's just what we're looking at.
Or they've decided they're going to take the risk and be one.
You're going to take the risk to be one.
Okay, so now that is a singular item, right? That it has been sorted already. So that is giving a very much old, right? And he is also direct, right? That answer was clipped.
So my first question
Entrepreneurs
to
are
you
not
is,
born; they're made. They're
boom.
made with the decision to go.
Talk.
That's leading towards T, right? This is the way, he has organized it into this box, and he is controlling about that.
Talk about a great segue right there. Entrepreneurs are not born, they're made. So talk about the best qualities of an entrepreneur, meaning what does it take to become an entrepreneur? And then also some of the downside that you see of becoming, everyone thinking, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm making all this money, I'm raising all this capital. What they don't see are the sleepless nights, the long days, the rejections. I think Patrick Bet-David, our CEO, did it best in his video, The Life of an Entrepreneur.
Oh my gosh.
So tell us about that lifestyle and what it means to be an entrepreneur.
Okay, so we got a little bit of informative there, right? There's a little bit of rabbit hole and didn't necessarily chase them. It seems that he is more ideas focused to Tom's things focused, but we'll see.
So let's break this into two halves. And the first thing let's talk about.
Okay, so that's organization.
The first attributes that I've consistently seen is, and these are not in any particular order, and I'm not making a pie chart to say it's half of this, half of that. But you start with creativity. They have a creative solution to build a product in a certain market to do something. And they have to be dedicated to that from a business standpoint. I once heard it said that there is a banker that said, I love to do small business loans, 25,000, 50,000, 100,000. And whenever I ask somebody, they say, well, I'm following my passion. I never loan them the money. I only loan them the money if, well, I have an idea for this that I'm passionate about, and it's going to do this and this and this, and this is how I make money, and this is where the profit comes from. If all goes well, that's what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. So that's taking a well-organized approach to doing things, right? That's not based off of feelings. That's based off of a set pattern that, again, leads towards control. That doesn't necessarily mean that we are defining control yet, but that seems to lean, again, towards control. We're, again, sorting down into a box. It's a little bit iffy on whether that's things or ideas at the moment, but it appears to be more things-oriented.
And he says,
Not in any clearly definable way. That's why we're not saying it outright yet.
I lend money to those people that are passionate about a fully thought out creative idea, not just people that said, I've always loved kites.
So more of the thing from the idea than the idea itself.
And so now I'm going to build the best, most wonderful kite in the world and sell it to people. He said, I don't invest in that. I invest in people that said, I was watching this for a long time. I was observing this, and I got this idea. It's going to work like this. I need about 4 people. I'm pretty passionate about this idea. There's a whole different there, you see. So creativity, passion, and absolute stick-to-itiveness.
Okay, so creativity, passion, and stick-to-itiveness are not things, right? Those are ideas, and it is not a singular, but a couple of. So that is a gather ideas.
My daughter plays soccer, and my other daughter plays golf. The daughter that plays golf, in golf you can be your own worst enemy. You miss a putt. You hit one into the water. You hit one into the sand. You hit one into the rough, and the grass is this tall, and you got to get out.
A list of specific examples.
But you got to keep playing, because the game's not over just because you have a tough shot.
Mm-hmm.
Both of my daughters, and I hope they get it from me, stick with it. My other
Okay, we're in ideas again.
daughter is actually smart.
Right, we started with a specific examples, things, soccer and golf. But now we're talking about the idea of it. So we went from the thing to the idea.
All for her age, but she's an August birthday. So what do you know about that?
And it went from specific to broad, right? Because stick-to-itiveness was one of the broad spectrum of things, as opposed to it all comes down to self-discipline. And those things would be in the box of self-discipline.
All the kids in her class, except 1 or 2, are almost a year older than her. Because all the kids with the August birthdays, they went to kindergarten right then.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's specific examples. So that's things.
And everybody else with a September birthday, they said, no, you're next year. And so she's out there playing soccer, and she's a little bit smaller than the other ones. But she gets knocked down, she gets right back up. She gets pushed by the big girls. They're all lining up for a throw-in. They're bumping her at the shoulder. She's bumping back. She won't give up. And she's become a great defender. Those are things I bring up my kids only to say that when you're looking to get in business with somebody and you're looking to work with somebody, are they creative? Do they stick to it? And where can you see other times in their life that they just don't give up?
Okay, so self-tribe. We're seeing a lot of tribe, right? About these people. Now, part of that is the focus of the question, about entrepreneurs. But he could be bringing about 2 self-examples. When he did, he apologized for that, right? Not in a, I'm sorry, but as an explanation of why I did this. That's because that was personal, even though he was talking about the tribe. He's talking about the tribe in general. He's much more comfortable. He's talking about entrepreneurs in general happen to be his tribe, right? Your tribe is not necessarily what you might think. It is who you have chosen to be your people. And so it can be your family. It should be your family, but it doesn't have to be your family. It should be your friends, but it doesn't have to be your friends. It is the people that you have chosen to make important, right? He has chosen to make entrepreneurs important. They are his tribe. And so he is very focused on that. as opposed to being focused on himself and how I built this company for me, and I developed the system to do things like I do, right? My system was developed for me. I give it to y'all freely. I'm not selfish, but I am self-oriented. He seems to be more tribe-oriented than self, right? That was a long way of saying that, but that's what I'm trying to say there. He does seem to be gather ideas and sort things. I'm not sure yet which one is a little bit more dominant, but that's how it seems to be playing out. He also seems to be somewhat informative, right? We have had a couple of different stories inside of this one little segment. He didn't really chase a rabbit hole down either one of them. So he's giving us explanations, but explanations can be rabbit holes. So if he starts chasing those, that's one thing. If he's like the one first answer, he was clipped, he was short, he was to the point. If you're given the same information more than one time, you're probably leaning towards informative. If you're giving it twice or three times, you're absolutely leaning towards informative.
Because being an entrepreneur is not having an idea and then going over here and over here and over here and over here. It's like, okay, we have an idea to build this product in this market. And are you in?
Specific thing. Specific thing.
And you're all going to stick with it together and be thrifty and be
Tribe.
focused and drive it. Just like the smallest kid on the soccer field getting.
Okay, so this appears to me so far to be things, right, and sort, right? So he's taking the things and sorting them into the best way forward with the things, right? Where NI sorts the ideas into the best idea, he sorts into the best thing. The best thing is how to be an entrepreneur, how to be successful in that. That's how it, but it's grounded in the physical things that you do, but it is supported by the many ideas that he brings, right? So he is gathering the ideas in support of the things. That's why I'm going to go with that. We're going to look for more confirmations, of course.
Knockdown, or a golfer playing on a high school golf team, learning the game and hitting the bad shots, but having to get right back up and hit another shot, because the game of golf is not about one shot. It's about a bunch of shots. And so those are the few things that I look in people. I ask them, hey, what things do you never give up at? Well, besides the business, yeah, just in life. What do you never give up at? Mm-hmm. And they tell, every entrepreneur has told me some stories that told me about them. You know what? I fell in love with my wife
more trial.
when we were a sophomore in high school. And we didn't even date in high school. As a matter of fact, she went to the prom with the older brother of one of my friend's friends. But we both went to the same college, and as freshmen, you know, we started dating, and now we're married and all this. And I'm like, I love it.
Okay, that's explanatory, right? But it's not really relevant, informative.
Those stories, because it says, I don't give up, and I'm sensible about it. So those are the attributes that I look for in people.
So a lot of that stick-to-itness.
Yeah.
Is that even a real word, or is that something? Because I've heard that before.
It is now.
It is now, baby.
Put
the
it on.
BizDoc.
All right, put it on the screen.
Webster's,
Stick-to-itness. It's a save
stick-to-itness.
the money. No, it's a stick.
It's called grit. They have a study on that.
To-itness is now a.
I love that word.
Not stick-to-itiveness,
So-
but stick-to-itness.
So that's what you're looking for in an entrepreneur.
Okay, so far for time, we're looking at things. We're looking at old. We're looking at tribe. We're looking at control. He does have a little bit of flexibility, but it seems that he is very much, my path is the best one, right? That's generally leading more towards control than flex. And I'm leaning towards informative. Not that he is really undisciplined in it, right? He is very good at reeling himself back in, but he does tend to over-explain just a little bit, right? It's not a bad thing. I'm the exact opposite. I have to take great pains to make sure that I'm being clear. So, all right, now we're going to be looking at Adam for a little bit. So,
Or if you're going to invest in them, or if you're going to sort of break down the nuclear breakdown of an
make.
entrepreneur.
If I'm going to spend 3 days and give them advice for free because I love their passion, I love who they are, and I'm just going to give my time to them and try to help them in any way I can.
But passion
I
alone.
want to make sure who I'm helping.
But passion alone isn't enough, from
Correct.
what I heard from you.
Absolutely.
Passion is great. It's an element of starting a business. But if you're starting that kite business and you're like, I just love kites, that alone isn't going to do it. Do you have the stick-to-itiveness? Do you have the business plan? Do you have the business model? Have you thought it out? Where are you going to get the money from? It's more than passion, but passion is a key ingredient.
Adam seems to be more grab the ideas, right? He's more the NE side of that, and that's interesting too.
Not? Okay.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
So you know a little bit about real estate. You know a little bit
Little
about
bit.
rentals. Okay, you do. So 2 guys in front of you. Not guys, 2 people, 2 individuals in front of you.
Triplex.
Nowadays they can invent one of 7 genders. So it's 2 individuals in front of you. And one of them says, I really don't want to work more, like to have rental housing so I could do this and this and this. And, you know, I've always wished I could have a little supplemental income. The other person says, you know what? At my business, 3 people that come to work for the company were asking me where to live, and I was telling them and they want to live closer to this good school, but they don't have the money over there to put a down payment for those houses. And I said, why don't you rent something? And they're giving me a whole thing like this, and it led me to thinking, well, why don't I own the houses near a good school district where there's also good jobs, maybe where people are going to need that rental housing, and maybe it's interesting. Which guy would you say, I'll help you? You know what? I'll put $100 in with your down payment. I'll share your rental income. Which one? The one that's got thought out and is very passionate about helping people in the neighborhood understand school districts, or the other one that just wishes he had some supplemental income because they don't want to be working for the man anymore?
Yes.
Right. Clearly, obviously,
I really do need to talk to Tom. Like I do.
because it's a
Right.
well thought out plan.
By the
There's a
way-
lot more to it. There's some stick-to-itness there.
Have you seen people like that? Like in real estate when you've
I've
talked
seen
to
both.
people? Exactly. Guess what? Ta-da.
That's actually an awesome segue to my next question. for
Same
you, the
rules
Biz
apply,
Doc.
Adam. It's the same thing you're doing.
Love that. So, my question to you actually was, when you're starting a business,
Okay, so it's harder when someone is interviewing than when the interviewer, right? Or the interviewee. So it's going to be a little bit harder to get traits off of Adam than it is going to be to get traits off of Tom. Tom's going to be talking more. He is the subject. If Adam is direct, right? If he's not interrupting, which he is not, if he is not going wild with his stuff, like he's reiterating what was said, but he's not extrapolating. He's not going off. So that's lending me towards direct. But he is the host, so we have to bear that in mind.
what's more important, or what's the breakdown of just going after the money versus building a great company?
Which one of these 2 specific things, right? Is that things or ideas? Let's back it up.
Breakdown of just going after the money versus building a great company.
That would have to be ideas, right? That would have to be narrow down these ideas for me. That's what he's saying, right? He's trying to gather these ideas. So which one of these 2 would it be, right? He's not making the determination. He's asking.
Kind of like the example you just gave. Some guys, I just want some residual income, and someone was like, well, actually, I have some people that work for me, and this is what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
and
I've looked at this.
Yeah.
I think right here would be a great place. I think I'm going to do it like this.
So give me that answer, going after the money versus building a great company. And then part B to that is, if you're going to go to work, talk about, young people out there, or just people in between jobs, going to work at a startup or joining a startup or working for a big established company. So two questions right there. Going after the money versus building a great company, and being a part of a startup, and versus going after a bigger company to work for. What are your thoughts?
So let's start.
Okay, so those 2 things seem to be more oriented towards ideas than things, right? The 2 questions that he is focused on asking were very early in. This is the questions lose importance the farther you go along, right? So the first things you ask are the more important things. That is the things he is going to be focused on. Both of these were ideas, and he is gathering the tribe's ideas. Tom's part of the tribe, right? And so I'm assuming Tom's part of the tribe, right? They get along fairly well, right? They argue on camera, but that's part of life. They seem to get along fairly well. They're doing well here. They're interacting well. I'm going to assume that they consider each other tribe, knowing their work relationship. And so he is asking and seeking information from the tribe. That's a long way of saying that, but that's what I'm looking at.
Start with building a great company.
Like, we have less examples of him talking than we do of Tom. And I'm not just here to take the whole podcast. We're going to do a piece of it. We're going to do the typology. We're going to talk about it. We'll do the confirmation and get out of it. I'm not here to take everything from anybody. So we're going to have to make assumptions on Adam as we go along. That's all. But it's also important to remember that this is not a diagnosis for anyone. I am not a doctor. This is merely something I have developed to help me, and I am offering it to you.
When the one piece of advice I give everybody building a great company is the disciplines you show, they follow. They do what you do. And so if you're wheeling...
That is a specific action, right? That is how you act is the example. That lends me towards things too, as opposed to ideas, although that could probably go either way, right? I would never make a determination off of that.
Up in a leased Mercedes or a leased BMW. You know, Miami, everybody wants a convertible M3, right?
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah,
Things.
that's exactly. So everybody
Specific
is like,
things.
I can squeeze into an $800 lease. $800 lease.
Yeah.
So you're gonna go in with a friend, pay $1,500 rent and $800 lease. Really, that's what you're gonna do. And then you're peeking out
That's some things responsibility.
the window all night because you don't have a garage.
And it's T, right? That's some control right there.
You're worried about your car. So, isn't that true?
Potentially,
Completely
yes.
true. They come out in the morning, oh no, what happened? You got robbed. So basically it goes like this. Everything that that what you do, they will do. So the first thing is you got to build the good disciplines in. And if you're showing up in a, a leased car and you're showing up with, you know what I'm saying, these elements, then your team's going to look at that. But if you're showing up and you're very thrifty, and you don't have to be driving, a 2002 Camry with 3 wheels, by the way, I had one.
With 3 wheels.
Well, but then not with
4th
3
wheel
wheels.
was questionable.
The
But go
fourth-
on, you're flowing.
The 4th wheel was on
He got him on that.
alone. When you're broke, you're broke. When you're building the business, do I put new tires in the back of the car, or do I, back in the day, or do I get a fax machine? You get the fax machine. It's like that's it. There's no choice about it. So you look at that and you say to yourself, okay, everything that you show, all your employees are going to follow. So being thrifty, and if you care about the employees, they'll care about the next person they hire. And if
That's some more tribe, right? That's
you
set the example is very much control. It is my way, right?
you used to have a thing that said, the most expensive piece of furniture we own is our chair. Why? Because you're going to be sitting in it. Because we want you to be comfortable sitting there. We want you to be able to work. Now, the desk may be like Amazon, a door with 2 sawhorses, which is the story of Amazon. But I totally buy off on that, right? So people walk in and say, wow, the nicest place in here is the chairs. And it says, yeah, because the most valuable asset we have is our employees, and they're going to be sitting in them. Now, they're not $1,000 chairs,
Calling me out, Tom.
but people took the time to say, look, I'm spending money on chairs. We're obviously not spending money on paint, decorations, private offices, and desks. We're here to just
We
crank-
want your ass to be comfortable because we want you working.
You know what? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So everything you show, they're going to be there. So when you start the business, you be thrifty. You could build a culture that cares about the employees, that they completely
That is so tribe and thing specific, right? Follow my example about these specific things.
buy into your vision of what you're doing. And
Like there's definitely ideas involved in this, but it boils down to the specific things, right?
you don't have to be a
Things that you can actually do and actually put your hands on from here into the past as opposed to here into the future.
really cool place. It just has to be a cool place to work. You see the difference? It doesn't have to be a really cool place, but it does have to be a cool place for work. And they'll be telling their friends, having a beer, hey, I work at this really cool place. It's really funny. My chair is like brand new, yeah? Nothing else in the place is new.
Yeah.
But it's the coolest thing and the coolest people to get involved with. And I say step 1, you're establishing your culture, you're establishing the habits for the people you're going to work with. And I believe that's where it all starts. And then they will be careful about what they spend. And they will care about the people that work there. There's a lot of basics that go into that because you're the one that's going to say, this is the product and this is what we're doing and this is how we're going to sell it.
Like a lot of this things comes down to the organization too, right? Because SI is about organization. It is about taking the sensations and putting them into the specific places they're supposed to be. And so Tom is very organized in how he does these things, right? He is very organized in his reasoning behind the ideas, and they're grounded firmly in the things. That's why I lean so heavily towards the things. Now, you could probably pull ideas out of this because there's a lot of ideas in here, right? There's a broad spectrum of ideas, but they boil down into these ideas feed into and support the best things, right? The best operating practice is going to be a best thing. It is something you can actually do.
Everything else, you're bringing culture and you're creating culture on day one.
I'm hearing leadership and I'm hearing culture and the trickle-down effect from the leader.
And caring about your people so that they, you say, this is what I can.
Okay, so he's like, these are the 3 ideas I just pulled out of that, right? So that is a gather ideas. I'm going to go ahead and look at that, right? So I'm going to say Adam is probably going to be ideas. He's probably going to be new ideas, right? He's wanting the new ideas out of it. Self or tribe, so far we have seen more tribe than we have seen self. He seems to be rather flexible around time here, not always. And so we're going to look a little bit more to see if it is a control situation versus flex. It's a little bit harder to do, again, because he's asking the questions and he seems to be quite direct, right? He is not chasing any rabbit holes. He's not interrupting the speech of his guest. And so that lends more towards being direct than informative. And so I'm going to put him as an informative. So we're really looking for control flex more than anything with Adam.
Can afford to pay you, and they work at, suddenly you see them, they leave at 6:30 or 7.
So
and you're like, why?
But what y'all didn't see that I did watch, these mugs have blue moon in it because he was flexing around his guest. So I want to point that out because that does lend more towards flexibility, right? Flex around the tribe. Blue Moon was something that Tom appreciates. It was something that Tom would like to have to make him more comfortable. And that gives me more of a flex. He's trying to make it a little bit more fun. Y'all missed that part too. And that, again, is more of a flex than a control. And so I'm leaning more towards flex than control, even though y'all really haven't seen the examples. The link is always provided down below. You are always encouraged to go and check out the entirety of the podcast because it will not be here.
Are you still here to 6:30 or 7? I love it that you're here.
And when you're starting a business,
I bought in.
When you're starting a business, to answer specifically, how important is I want to make money? I just want to make money versus I want to build a beautiful, great company. Like, is there?
Okay, so that is a question about things versus ideas.
Is it 100% you have to be all about the business, or you can say, dude, I just want to make some damn money here? What's that balance?
I'm a little bit different in mine.
If you just want to make money, go get your MBA and go work for a financial services company.
So
Yeah,
that's
see,
kind
that
of
ain't
Honestly, if you just
I want to make money to give it away. Yeah, believe it or not.
want to make money, and you think having your own business means
And I mean not just willy-nilly give it away, but to actually put it to work to change some things in real life. Like I got a whole plan, and this channel and the possibility of getting Minnect are all aligned towards that plan. So
I have to have a boss, I don't have to do this, and I just want to make money. No. Go get an MBA and work for a financial services firm. You know, you'll make some money, you'll have a really good career if you're smart and, you know, you're respectful and you know how to, you know, cultivate clients, things like that. Just go do that. You know?
What's the flip side to that? Because
all right. So
flip side to that is
we're going to get a lot more Tom and a lot less Adam. And so I'm going to try and go ahead and do the typology part now because we're going to come back for confirmations on the backside of it. This is going to take just a minute. So let's go ahead and pop over the things that we need to get popped over. This is our chart, right? What we're looking at on Tom is things. And so things is going to be the left hand of the screen. He is dealing with old things, which means that he is taking the things and deciding what the best thing is, as opposed to just getting all the shiny things. That's going to make him a J as opposed to a P. That's going to be the second column from the left. Then he's going to be doing that for the tribe, right? He uses it for himself, but it's not really why he's doing it. He's invested himself in making sure that the tribe has the opportunity to be entrepreneurs. His method of doing that is through his own entrepreneurship, but his drive is for the tribe in that manner. So that lends me towards tribe. That will make him an E. Next way up, we got flexible versus control. He seems to be a little bit more rigid in how he wants to execute the ideas, right? That's what the control versus flexible is how do you execute your ideas? How do you give the information back? How do you put things into action? He seems to be more controlling in that, right? That is not overbearing. That is not some kind of tyrant. It means that you believe that your way is the best way and you're less flexible around other people's ways. Seems to be a decent fit. And so that's going to give us a T versus an F. So we're looking at an ESTJ. We're going to kick that one over. And the ESTJ is going to either be direct or informative, right? You can be an ESTJ who is direct and one who is informative. It's going to change your focus just a little bit, but your overall will be the same. He seems to be more informative than direct. He wasn't going wild chasing rabbit holes, but there were some lengthy explanations, and so that lends more towards the informative than the direct. That's going to make the third slot down be extroverted. If you are giving the information away really freely in an informative manner, then the third slot is going to be extroverted. That's going to be a straight up ESTJ. That's going to be the left hand side of the column. He's going to be very much concerned with other people's thoughts. Now, he is going to do this almost flawlessly. He is going to do this without thinking. 90% of the time, 90+% of the time, this reception is great. If it misses big, and it's a big problem. But for the most part, he understands what people are thinking. He understands the rationale behind whatever it is he is doing. And what he is doing is taking what has happened and sorting it into the best things, right? We've seen several examples of that. He seems to be fairly good about that. He feels responsible for that. That's what the crown slot is for. It's responsibility. The third eye is seeing forward. So he is going to be seeing forward to many different possibilities. He is going to be gathering many different ideas. And he's going to be defensive over making sure that all of these ideas remain out there. Or that's how he's going to see his path forward. He's going to be defensive over those paths, those different ideas not being narrowed down necessarily. He's going to miscommunicate in the throat area. The miscommunication and misunderstanding is going to lie in his morals and past feelings. Your personal past feelings is FI. It's how you feel about things. That doesn't mean that he doesn't feel about things, even though this is a really low reception area. The two spots right in the middle, the throat and the heart, receive the least bit of information without help. And so if he's not paying attention, he will tend to let other people dictate the terms of the feelings part, right? He's controlling about his path, but the feelings part of it, he will squash his down. It doesn't really matter what I feel. It matters more what the tribe thinks. In order to be fulfilled, what he is going to want to do is use his personal logic in order to determine the best, right? The best thoughts, the best ideas, or not really like ideas in any way, but to take the thoughts and to logically fact check them. If he is fact checking them in yes, no scenarios, then he is going to feel fulfilled. Like you can see that as we're looking, and he's describing the paths for entrepreneurs to succeed. He has helped them. He knows the path that works, and so he has logic checked that. And because he has logic checked that and that it actually works, it feeds his soul and makes him feel really good that he has chosen the best thing. In order to do that most effectively, he has to make sure that he gathers the most things, right? And that doesn't mean possess them. It means have knowledge of them, to take them into consideration, so that while you have this path that is working really well, that SI, maybe there's a path that is better that you are overlooking, SE. And with it being so low, it's receiving the negative energy better than it is the top or the positive energy. And so the focus is going to be tend to overlook as opposed to tend to notice. And so he's going to tend to overlook some of the possibilities, and that's what's going to bite him. But if he gets that correctly, that's what's going to feed the logic checks, because you are gathering all of these things. It will feed the logic checks. That's how the solar plexus feeds into the heart. It will feed the logic checks, and the logic checks will be correct for him to give all the information out. What he is going to mess up, that's going to be your sacral. Your sacral is where you are going to intentionally do the wrong thing. And that is going to be narrowing ideas into boxes, choosing the best idea, right? His thing is not about investing in this particular type of entrepreneur. It is in all this type of entrepreneurs. These are the ideas, right? He's not trying to narrow those ideas. Now, if he were trying to narrow those ideas, he would probably pick the wrong one. Not because he wants to, just because it happens to fall out that way. Picking the best guidance probably didn't work well, at least in the beginning. Now, you can grow within your stack. You don't really grow from one stack to another, but you can get more balanced, and the more balanced you grow as you mature, the better you execute all of these functions, because everybody uses all the functions all the time. You just use them to varying degrees of effectiveness. And the part that is really going to mess him up is because he is so tribe-oriented, right? His ethics are going to be the thing that tricks him up. He's not concerned about his morals. He doesn't really understand them. He doesn't really enforce them. It is more of the standard is the thing, not really the feeling, right? Well, the other people's feelings, because he squashes down the other people's feelings will have a tendency to be towards the wrong people. That doesn't present a flaw in him. It just means that the part of him that he feels the need for is most prevalent in those people. And so he is going to try to shape himself off of the other people's feedback, the other people's feelings. And that can be a problem, right? You can get stuck in that. Tom seems to be fairly well balanced in it, so I'm not too concerned about him. But if you identify with any of those things, I have a video for that. There's an ESTJ video for integrating this in yourself and how to balance yourself to better be able to take these attributes and spend them in a light that is more profitable for you, for your growth and your development. So now let's look at Adam. And again, we have to take into consideration the brevity of the examples, right? But Adam seems to be more ideas, so that's going to give us the right hand of the board. He seems to be more new ideas than old ideas. He wants to get these ideas from Tom. Now, part of that, absolutely, is the point of the interview. But the delivery of it, like the way that you put your focus, makes every bit as much difference as what the actual focus is. And it seems like he is trying to pick the ideas out of what Tom is presenting. So that's going to give us new ideas. That's going to be the third column from the left. He seems to, like Tom, to be tribe-oriented, right? His tribe, he seems to be wanting to help. And so it's less focus about Adam and more focus on the other people. That's going to give us an E. He seems to be more flexible, right? He is less rigid in his way of presenting things. I gave the example from earlier that y'all didn't really get to see, and maybe we'll get some confirmation of as we go forward. But he is more of an F than a T as far as I can be able to determine. So that is going to give us, what do we got? We got an N, we got a J, right? We have we have an N, we have a P, we have an F, so we have an ENFP. Let me get that pulled up real quick and we will get that transferred over. And so an ENFP is going to be very much concerned with and do almost flawlessly without thinking about it, gathering the possibilities and the ideas. They want to consider as many ideas as possible so that they have as much to work with as they can. And they do that without effort. The crown, the part where you're going to feel responsibility, is going to be about morals, right? About how you have decided the correct way to go forward is. Doesn't mean that that's going to be the tribe, right? There is a possibility of that, but this is about you, what you have decided is the right thing. And if it deviates from the tribe, you are okay with that. As a matter of fact, you feel like it is your responsibility to course correct the tribe back to where you are. The third eye, which is where you see forward, is going to be other people's thoughts and rationale. So he is gathering all of the possibilities and all the thoughts, and he is going to be defensive over the thoughts. And so the thoughts he is defensive over are not his, they belong to someone else. He has heard them, and he's very much, the TE is very much, show me your credentials, show me the research, show me the person who is approved by the authorities to relay this information. That doesn't mean that every single one is that, but that is the tendency of the function. And so they tend to want to authority check versus just taking it for granted. And so he is going to be defensive about that. He's going to, oh wait, we did not do direct and informative. Direct and informative, he seems to be more direct than informative, so we're going down the right track. No, we're not. We're going down the wrong track here. He's going to be what has happened in the organization is going to be the defensive part, right? That is going to be the logic checks. No. That's going to be the organization of the things that have actually happened, and he's going to be very much wanting to make sure that the record is straight, right? Not the TE, which is the next function, is going to be the other people's thoughts about it, and he is going to take those thoughts and make sure that they are logically correct or organized in the right spot, right? So are these things factually true? Is an SITE type function. So he is going to be very much concerned to making sure that if someone is relaying a thing that has occurred and they don't relay that information in the correct manner, that's what he's going to trigger on. That's where he's going to get defensive. That's what he's going to be mad about. Now, he is going to miscommunicate what other people think and other people's rationale. He is tribe, right? He is centered on the tribe, but he may misunderstand that. He may miscommunicate back to the tribe why he is so defensive over these specific organizational problems. But if he can do the NI, which is the heart, which is what you want to do with your life, and that is narrow down the best possibility. He is really good at gathering all the possibilities. He is good at checking them against his morals, and as long as he is aligned correctly where he wants to be in his morals, then the rest of it falls into line with that. But he is not as good at figuring out what the best idea is, as opposed to getting all of these ideas. So narrowing down this one particular branch can take you a little while, right? Figuring out what your specialty should be can take you a little while. You don't want to take the future and narrow all of these possibilities into a box. You're adverse to that. But if you do it, then you're doing what you're designed to do. You're designed to take all of these things and through your FE, which is the tribe's ethics, filter that information into the best box and then relay that back to the tribe. And the FE is what's going to feed him, right? So if he is taking this information that he is receiving and he is filtering it using the ethics of the tribe as opposed to his morals, or if he is setting his morals correctly due to the tribe's ethics, then that's going to feed into him choosing the best possibility going forward. What's going to trip him up? That is going to be current things and exploration, the new experiences, and expanding beyond your box, right? SE is all about exploration. It is all about getting the best or giving the best experience. SI is more of a give me the experience. SE is more of a give you the experience. And so he is going to have a tendency to unintentionally, intentionally choose the wrong experiences. That could be promiscuity. That could be street racing. That could be whatever it happens to be. It is chasing this experience and not wanting to settle all of it down into the idea. And he is going to use his logic to make those wrong choices, right? The base is where you receive the least positive information. You have to intentionally take that information and look for the positive in it. And so his logic choices are not necessarily going to be based in the right yes/no question. So what you would have to do as an ENFP alternate would be to narrow down your logic choices according to ethics and morals, right? You should make sure your morals and your ethics are aligned, but you have to start making sure right off the top that you are logic checking yes/no to the correct questions. I also have a whole video devoted straight to this. It's linked in the top corner up there, the ENFP video, or it's below in the box. And I dive into in more depth each one of these. That is going to be reworked, but it works. All of the basics are there, and there is a program that I have designed called Infinite Integrations that helps you to incorporate these things into yourself. If you are interested in either one of these types and you see examples of yourself demonstrated and pointed out, right? I am not trying to diagnose anyone. This is not some kind of end-all be-all. I very well could be wrong. I don't have enough tribe feedback as of yet to say that I am. Most of the people who have used the system that I developed, it worked for. I don't know of anybody that actually implemented it and then didn't. The drive is up to you. It is available. I'm writing a book, so you'll be able to get it in your hands, but it is available. I'm doing something different here. Now, we're going to dive back in and we're going to check out and see if we can get some confirmations, right? We're looking to see about Tom and we're looking to see about Adam. So let's just dig in and see what we get.
You know, you build a great company and you get behind the product you're doing and you really make it come to life, the money will follow.
I needed that.
But as most entrepreneurs like to say is, people interview me and they want to talk about my cars, they want to talk about my house. And musicians have said this, and actors and actresses have said this, and entrepreneurs have said this. It's like, dude, you should have known me 10 years ago. You make it sound like I'm an overnight sensation. I'm an overnight sensation 10 years in the making.
Yeah.
You know, my overnight sensation started when I
That's breaking it back to the organization.
left a company. I had $50,000, as I described, and I started my business with an idea about a product. And I got people to get in with me, and I cared about them, and built the culture of the company. And then they work for me, and they work hard. And he's still there, and she's still there, and she's still there, and he's still there.
Tribe.
And they're still here together, and I'm rewarding them handsomely now that we've made it.
And my way worked, right? That's what this is a my way worked. This organization seems to have worked.
You know, that's what the journey is about. Entrepreneurship is not having the money to buy the things at the end. It's about the satisfaction of the journey from the moment you said, this is what I'm doing.
Love that.
Yes. All right, let's do some Adam.
So let's get into starting a business, right? So let's kind of unpack it. So maybe there's people.
All right, so we're looking to see if Adam's about ideas and new ones, right? We're looking to see if Adam's about tribe. We're looking to see if he is flexible, and we're looking to see if he is direct.
Out there that have already started a business and they're watching it and saying, all right, let me get some tips from the biz doc. And maybe there's people that haven't even started business yet and
Give me some ideas.
say, I've been thinking about.
And tribe, right? What about these people out here who are asking these questions?
Quitting my job, maybe not quitting my job. I've been thinking about starting this new business. So let's kind of start. Let's kind of
What about these ideas?
start from rookie mode, and then kind of work our way up into more expertise in that. So if you're starting a business, give me step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, if you can. Like, do you have to have a business plan? Do you have to have a business model in place? Do you have to, know
Give me some organization, please.
what to expect when you start to raising capital? I just kind of asked you a lot right there, but give me like the step 1, step 2, step 3 when you're going to start a new business.
Step 1 is usually you have really well thought out a product. You've really well thought out a product, and you're already maybe kind of doing it. There's service business and there's product business. So service businesses could be you're a web designer, you're working for somebody, and you realize, wow, I really think I have a knack
Specific examples.
here, and I'd like to build my own agency, and I'm just going to step out and do it.
And we did get direct from Adam, right? He asked a question. It was not necessarily the most clipped, but it wasn't extravagant. It wasn't long, and he has not shown a pattern of that. Right? Again, it was a give me your ideas. That's what I got from him. Give me your ideas and tribe focused, right? These people are asking these questions. And he seems to be fairly flexible in how he gets it. He's not interrupting. He's not doing that type of thing. So
Well, you can't steal their clients, but the point is, you've got this idea, you have a plan. And I say for anyone, if you want to go start a business because of money, don't do it. If you want to go start a business because you think this would be fulfilling, you could think you could do a little better, you think of an idea for a better service, a better product, a little bit better, a little bit different, and you see an opportunity, go do it.
that's what I'm doing.
Go to find a way to do it. Now, if you're $50,000 in credit card debt, you can't step out and do that, because number one is, I think you should have at least, for a small business and a small jump, at least 6 months, living expenses for yourself set aside.
This is the part that I'm working on now, right? This is why I stepped back from the game for a minute, because I'm at the point where I need other people and I don't have the investment to do that.
And by the way, that's short. So I'm giving you the
Right.
shortest
You're
possible.
saying at minimum.
The minimum would be
Right.
to have 6, and then to try it for 6 months, especially if it's something that's turnkey, like,
And I'm in a different situation too. So
hey, I'm gonna step out, I'm gonna resign, leave their clients alone, I'm gonna go over here, get my own clients, have my own web development firm. You can find out whether you're gonna make it or not in, say, 6 months. Not whether you're gonna be this big, but whether it's gonna make it enough that you're gonna earn a living. And
Right.
you're gonna
That's
be able
why.
to
That's why I talk about the importance of having an emergency fund or a cushion or a rainy day fund
You're so
of
true.
at least 6 months. So I just did an episode
by
called
the
"The
way-
Importance of Saving 10 Grand," and I get that some people maybe need a little bit less. Some people definitely need a lot more. But that's why I kind of said the importance of 10 grand, because without that,
I'd be happy with a lot less than that.
you have no cushion. How are you going to start a business?
Exactly.
That's the problem.
And I'll can I plug a book?
Yeah.
Plug a book.
Okay, plug a book.
We're gonna let him plug the book and then we're gonna wrap up.
4-hour work week. The 4-hour
Tim
work
Ferriss.
week. Yes, exactly right. The 4-hour work week. He talks all about how to live as lean as possible, and so having a lean living life helps you run a lean business, right? So that's important. And the other book that I would look at, honestly, and I think it's the best book on the topic, and it's not because I know him, it's not because I work with him, it's not because I'm making content of valuetainment, but is Your Next 5 Moves. Because it teaches you the mental discipline of the planning process. And if you
Get the SI right.
take the super, low-cost living that Tim Ferriss talks about, and couple that to your next 5 moves, that's really where you be when it's time to start a business with a little bit of money to say,
We're gonna let
hey,
Adam
if this
talk one
doesn't
more
work
time.
out. Now remember, I said 6 months.
I'm fairly good on
time.
time.
Because if it doesn't work out in 4 months, 5 months, what can you do? Go back to work in
And
somebody
Adam,
else's
for
web design
real, like-
business. You're not like this
Right.
unicorn looking for the land of unicorns. It's the only place you could make a buck and live.
Like, this is a little bit more of an exposition of Tom than you normally get on the PBD podcast. Adam tends to talk a little bit more when he talks over there. That is part of his role on the show. And so it's interesting to see this interaction here. This is a couple of years ago. This is before they really developed into the roles where they are now on the PBD podcast. And so it's interesting to get this look back here. But I'm fairly good on Tom now, right? I want to give one more round on Adam just to see if we got some more. And then we'll go ahead and wrap it up.
It's this was not planned, this segue, but I was going to ask it anyway, and you kind of beat me to it. So your next 5 moves, here's what I got for you. Because we're drinking beer, and at some point, that's not the gift. At some point, if you're getting a little hungry because we're drinking beer, and you want to have a little snack, I got a little chessman. Because we're playing chess, your next 5 moves, and you said, here's a free plug for Pepperidge Farm. This is a chessman. I think you can bust that open.
I wasn't thinking about that, but
yes.
Okay, so that's some Tribe Flex too, right? This is something that he thought that Tom would enjoy.
But you've said in an interview, because we're kind of all over the topic, we're drinking beer, we're having fun here. You've said, I think even specifically in your latest board episode, your latest case study, you said Disney, and I have a question on that, but Disney was playing chess, not checkers. And I said, oh.
about Hulu and about how
Hulu.
They went from a major partnership to owning the whole damn thing.
So I said,
over
all right.
several years.
Of course.
They
And
were
I got some questions on that. Believe me, we're going to get
Mickey
there. But
knows how to play chess, and Mickey knows how to do business.
Mickey Mouse we're talking about. But
The House of Mouse.
you kind of said a great book would be Patrick Bet-David's Wall Street Journal best-selling book, Your Next 5 Moves. And then which was all about knowing your next 5 moves, like a chess player knows their next 5, 10, 15 moves. Hence the chess set. I said, look, let's get some chessmen snacks. But what does that mean actually in the business world? I'm going to open these up. What does that mean in the business world, playing chess, not checkers?
Well,
All right, so give me your ideas here too, right? It seems to be ideas focused. Now he has these things, right? These things that he is bringing out is in support of him trying to get the ideas. And these are the things that he thinks that Tom is most inclined to be receptive to. So this is him flexing around getting the ideas from Tom. So I do feel fairly confident with doing the ENFP too. If you're interested in more of this or understanding what I'm doing, I really do have a whole playlist devoted to understanding it, the MBTI parts. It'll be on this side. I have a system that's for teaching you how to pray and meditate and to integrate all of these functions into yourself in a way that I have found beneficial. Some other people have. I haven't ran into anybody with any negative effects. So I'm going to assume that I'm doing the right thing on that. I wanted to get a look into their minds because I am interested in doing the Minnect thing. And I wanted to see some of the people who are involved with that. These are the 2 top Minnectors. And so getting them together and looking into their mind is a good thing. Understanding the people that you wish to align yourself with is a good thing. Knowing how to identify traits within people that you can identify with and to understand them a little bit better is always a good thing. And identifying things that you might want to correct in yourself is also a good thing. And so hopefully all of these good things add into one good idea. And that one good idea is me giving you a toolbox to help you. Right? I can't do anything for you. I can't change anything about you. But I can help you figure out how to do that for yourself. That is the goal of this channel. Hopefully I brought a little bit of enlightenment and not too much confusion to a somewhat difficult topic. What I'm doing here is not like what you've seen anywhere else. I type people differently than anyone else. Doesn't mean that my way is the only way or that it is the best way even, but it is a way that works. Does not mean that I am trying to diagnose someone or to give them some kind of a type that is special or secluded or isolated. The functions are fairly well distributed. That is an evolutionary process. All of this, as far as I can tell, seems to be based pretty much in evolution. To the crew, y'all make sure y'all get back over and watch the rest of the podcast. I will be watching the rest of the podcast as this video cooks up, and the link is in the description box underneath this video. it is always highly recommended that you go back and look at these things yourself. Take your time. Understand the topics that they're talking about. Both of these men are really focused towards helping other people, and it's a good thing to find people who are that way. To the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me, and I am praying for you every single day. Until next time, I love you. God loves you. You are perfect, whole, and complete just the way that you are. And this has been Pit Steak. Peace.